Monday evening, everyone. Remember, 1 year ago on Memorial Day, we had the record high temperature of 99 degrees. So I guess it could always be worse, right? Well, outside this evening, of course, we had a very active afternoon with strong and severe thunderstorms moving through the area. And yes, you can see quite a few tornado reports, not just in Iowa and Illinois, but this stretches back towards Indiana and now making its way through Ohio as well. In fact, to kind of give you an update on how wide these storms were, we saw over 30 reports of tornadoes here across the upper Midwest this afternoon as this complex of storms made their way through thanks to a warm front that was situated across the area. And I do want to point your attention to this. You're going to hear more about this here coming up, especially by tomorrow morning here. There's a tornado emergency currently right now for the city of Dayton, Ohio, and radar reflectivity is indicating that this is a fairly large tornado with lots of damage occurring right now in the city of Dayton. So that's something that you will hear about coming up. I did want to point that out. But for us, thankfully, we're pretty much done with most of the severe weather locally. Now, of course, in Lee County, we had a tornado just after about 1:45 this afternoon, kind of destroyed two barns there. We also had another tornado that was reported there just around the Burlington area. This is just southwest of Burlington in Spring Grove, and a spotter observed that tornado touching down looking towards the north, and then it did make its way west of the hospital there in Burlington as well. And then also we had a tornado report in Knox County, and this was in the Dahinda area there, where a train spotter briefly saw a tornado touch down 1 mile south of town. So quite a few tornado reports even locally in our viewing area, including one in the Paw Paw area there in Lee County, Illinois. And we had video of that one on Twitter of that tornado briefly touching down there in the Paw Paw area as well, just after 4 o'clock this afternoon. So our main severe weather time frame was from about 1 to 4 o'clock. But now taking a look at the radar, yeah, this is definitely the good news. Locally, we're fairly quiet. If you look really closely, you see this little line there? That's not actually precipitation, but that is a wind shift line. That is the cold front working its way towards the south and west, and that is where we're seeing a few isolated showers developing just ahead of that cold front. So folks from let's say Williamsburg back towards Fairfax and Anamosa, you're now behind the front. You will likely stay dry for tonight, but if you're south of the front still, we've got a couple of isolated thunder showers now making their way near the border there of Iowa and Missouri. That's lifting back up towards the Houghton area and over towards Fort Madison and Burlington as well. So a couple of downpours, maybe some lightning and thunder, but nothing too severe out there. This main storm system with all its energy that brought us to severe weather tonight, moving off towards the north and east, this high pressure ridge, this is the heat dome that I was talking about that we had last year on this day that was sitting on top of us. It's sitting to the south and east. So that's where the heat is confined. But around this periphery of high pressure, it pulls in lots of Gulf of Mexico moisture. So as we get these little storm systems that ride along the jet stream, it's like an interstate for weather. So all these storm systems travel right along the interstate there, and they pull up plenty of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, the Pacific Ocean, and you get that spinning with the turning of heights with winds, and that's why we see all the severe weather. That's why we're seeing all this heavy rainfall, and we are tracking yet another storm system now over the Intermountain West spinning with rain, snow. That tells us there's a lot of dynamics with it, and yes, more severe weather even overnight tonight breaking out near Nebraska and Colorado, and this is the system that we're going to have to deal with tomorrow. So we all have a risk of severe weather, a level 2 out of 5 here across the TV6 viewing area, again with the main threats being the potential of seeing some damaging winds, large hail, yes, isolated tornadoes. Of course, our big concern is going to be the heavy rain and the flash flooding threat. And yes, we could still see an additional 2 to 3 inches of rainfall over the next couple of days as this system continues to work its way through. So we've got a lot of things to keep an eye on. But outside this evening, for most of us, fairly quiet now. Warm and muggy, though, with those temperatures into the 60s and lower 70s area wide. And tonight will only fall into the 60s with a few thunder showers, especially south of I-80. And then 77 as we get into your Tuesday with isolated storms during the day, but evening strong storms will be possible. And there you see it. We'll try to dry things out by the end of the week before more storms this weekend.